Hello, welcome to Tarot for Our Times. This is Sarah, medium on the go. And I know it's been about a week since I last posted a video, but with everything going on, I just get so overwhelmed. It's hard for me to get a focus, but it all pretty much came into view today as I watched some Midas Touch and the I've Had It ladies. And I guess the thing that really got me going today, and it's in the thumbnail. It's the Iran war, and then we're all with the higher gas prices. Apparently, I was looking at Mel and Arthur yesterday, and Arthur, who's a psychic from L.A., 6.99 as they did this. I guess they went live yesterday afternoon. God only knows what it is today. We're not that bad in Pittsburgh yet, but every time I go out and look, it's a little bit higher. So with all of this and the all the Epstein stuff, which is not going away, and there's no way I'm going to be letting that go anytime soon. Knowing this has been out there, knowing that that Trump is a loose cannon, and he's starting to go through dementia, and I'm for entertainment purposes only. This is stuff that wasn't only known. God, can I dare say, like almost 2 years ago when the primaries and the campaign began, but it goes back further, and yet people voted for him. Now, I do believe that there's something fishy about the election, and this is not only my intuition, but other people's intuition. Now, of course, the big difference being is that my side of the fence didn't go and beat up Capitol Police with American flag poles and paint the walls with poo, basically, which will tell you the difference between these two sides of the issue. And I also, it brings me to the quote of, doing the same thing over again and expecting different results. Now, this is what the regime has been doing, but this is what the voters have been doing too. And apparently, even if the election were rigged, you have to figure that at least a third of the nation, the voting nation, voted for him knowing they knew all of this, and yet they voted for him again, thinking that he was going to change the economy or whatever. But so at any rate, I know that has been attributed to Einstein. Now, and I had heard that it actually was not Einstein. So, in the spirit of being completely honest and truthful about things, it would be tempted to say, "Oh, well, it's something he would have said, and I'll put that on the thumbnail." No, I tried to. Well, I actually did. I went to Google to find out where did that come from, because it sounded familiar, and it seems vague memories of having it. Well, not vague memories, but I can't pinpoint exactly which meetings, but in a number of AA meetings, I remember hearing that, doing the same thing, and expecting different results. And I actually think that's where I first heard that. So I went to Google. It turns out in the 1980s that that quote they found that originated from a pamphlet that printed in the 80s of Narcotics Anonymous. That's boom, right there on the front page. Now, I've been to a few of those meetings, and the energy's a little bit different. It's sort of like in the introduction, they say they're not affiliated with law enforcement, and there are no narcs at the meetings and all this sort of thing. A bit more paranoid, but still, they do serve their purpose. So that's where that came from. So spirit of being honest. That's what oh dear, I forgot my microphone. Oh. I can't believe I did this again. Oh, just a second. I thought there's something wrong here. Okay. Where are you? No. Okay. I'm going to speak a little bit louder because I don't think I can find. Oh wait, is it down here? Nope. Can't find it. So I'm going to just speak up a little bit louder than usual. I can't believe I did this again. So at any rate, well, you can honestly see that I don't edit these things at all. Oh wait, here it is. Okay. So you may have to turn up the volume a little louder for the beginning of this. So at any rate, that doing things the same thing again and expecting different results is from Narcotics Anonymous. And because it's anonymous, I will never know who said that. But I imagine different versions of that have been stated. So a bit, really to reiterate, in case you didn't hear this, this is about people that voted for Trump again, or even the first time, knowing what he did. And even in the Epstein stuff, now, the really disgusting details, which I will not reiterate, about the 13-year-old girl that was allegedly assaulted by him, we knew about that. We didn't know the really grotesque details, but we did know about that. We're also getting very different stories about one, 5 minutes here, they went into Iran because of this, and a few minutes later, they went into Iran to regime change, nuclear stuff, even though they claimed the last time they pulled this, they said that they have no more nuclear capability. So you've got a drunk, and you've got someone with dementia explaining why we went into Iran. So we're getting different stories. Okay, so at any rate, so we have the one of the cards of the year is the moon. So this is I might even put this in reverse, because now that I think of it, because it's upright. These people, they're on their path, to the good old pillars of the tarot, to the transformation. But it in reverse, all it is the the really sicko stuff that they're trying to cover up. But still, the truth with the yuds, this whole thing has taken on a life of its own. It's still going to come out when they're still going to deny it. So it came to me in a kind of a download that the card of the month, and I don't do this all the time, the card of the month we have here is the Seven of Cups. Then I have that in the thumbnail with all the stuff. And of course I have Epstein right in the middle of this. So this is all the smoke screens and all this kind of nonsense that they're throwing at us to divert our attention away from that. So now that's become such a big disaster economically, and they're talking about reinstituting the draft. My sense is it probably won't happen. It would take too long. But I'll bet you Prime Minister Carney up in Canada is saying, I think we're going to loosen up our immigration So to let the guys who do not want to have anything to do with this come on up. I am sure that Canada, and he has said there's no way he's backing us up in this war, would gladly welcome those escaping the draft. It'll be kind of like back to the 60s and early 70s. So at any rate, I only made a couple notes here so I wouldn't miss any point. So at any rate, so here we go. So my interpretation of that quote is like, what did you think was going to happen? This goes back to when the Trump first term, when he had that, at the height of COVID, he had all of those people crammed into a party, I think in the Rose Garden, with half of them didn't have masks, most of them didn't have masks on. It spread, he got it. So someone who's part of my classes at Arthur Findlay in the UK had said, oh, I want to pray for him. I don't want to say, I ended up blocking her eventually. I don't want to say karma or anything like that. So it took all I could to not say, what the hell did you, I don't wish ill on anybody, but it comes down to like, what the hell did you think was going to happen? What did you think was going to happen? And that's, that's kind of a different thing altogether. So this is basically what this is about. And then, I guess this is a part of my rant, and then we have I call them the YouTube internet Neville Chamberlains, or a number of my colleagues were, with channels like this, were saying, oh, I'm trying to see both sides of the issue. No, there's no both sides to this, especially now. There is no both sides to this issue. Yes, when Obama ran against Romney and John McCain, yes, I could say that. Now this is like, would you have said that when Hitler came to power? And you were Jewish? I don't think so. So this whole thing is rather complex, and then it gets down to the issue of, if you're Jewish, you have to support this, and I say, I'm Jewish, and no, you do not have to support this. In fact, you can still love Israel and just hate who's running it now, and hate every single thing that he's done. Ask the thousands of people that are out in the street that the corporate news bullshit artists won't cover, of Israelis that are, I'm sure that they've been demonstrating against Netanyahu for years now. They're probably demonstrating against the war. So there are no two sides to this issue. I mean, when it's liberal and conservative, yeah, but not when it's freedom and fascism. Sorry, boys and girls, there aren't, and I've had it. I've had it with that crap, Ola. So, getting down to what we're going to read on, I'm going to keep it simple with the two decks and the focus cards of the moon and reversed, and the 7 of Cups to think on. So, I want to say, is there, what happened, because I think what this boils down to, how I've tried to change this channel as far as our own, what we're going through is concerned, is you can't have a great awakening if you're going to keep doing the same bullshit all the time. You're just not going to. There is no change, and there is no, I'm spiritual and to hell with politics. That's not going to work anymore either. So it really does come down to there is no great awakening if we keep doing this same old stuff. We can meditate and do breath work until we're blue in the face, and it just means that you're just going to be more relaxed in doing your bullshit, basically. So I want to do a reading and see where is this all going, because there is not going to be any great awakening, raising consciousness if this stuff keeps going on. So there's got to be real change here in order to take the journey of that inward journey of the moon. And it's hard to do when you're struggling, wondering how you're going to pay the rent or fill your tank or pay your car payments or this or that, all kinds of stuff. And they keep, and I call this the keep blowing smoke up our asses card is what this is. So let's see what all of this means and where it is going. Let's hope that my thing doesn't... Okay, so far so good. Okay, already. I'm afraid to take it any lower than this. Okay, so keeping the moon and the Seven of Cups in mind, I'll put them kind of like over here where you can sort of see them. So what is our base card in all of this? This is kind of encouraging. This is the Five of Swords. And what this is all about is they keep lying and stealing, but there is hope. There are people walking away. I would say this is the election in Georgia to fill Marjorie Taylor's seat. And these are the voters walking away, because what they're doing now is that the liberal Democrat, he beat the others, but he didn't. Well, when I checked into Midas Touch a few hours ago, 70% of the vote wasn't in. He didn't get the 50%, but in the final tally, if he does, he wins. But there is a runoff on April 7th. So the fact that it's even gotten this far when she won by landslides a 2-time, these are people walking away, but they don't get it yet. They think they're going to cheat, but with this, it's virtually impossible. Okay, so then we have here, the energy is Queen of Pentacles in reverse, and this is the very materialistic, social climby kind of queen where the money is important. So this is why this guy is clueless, because they're still caught up in their status with the billionaires, and they've insulated themselves pretty much, where they have not a clue as to what Joe Schmo on the street wants. I think that perhaps the Georgia, what Georgia is saying is that they're going through a big FAFO. I mean, they fucked around and now they are finding out and they're taking it to the polls. Am I ready to embrace them? Not really. But I'm not ready to throw any stones at them either. So let's see, the underlying stuff for all of this is the Five of Wands in reverse. So what maybe this is that I'm going to say this could be the Democrats trying to prevent the infighting, because there is a split in the Democratic Party versus with the corporate Dems like Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer and that gang, with the ones that are more with it like AOC, my representative Summer Lee, soon to be gone Jasmine Crockett. I think that what this is trying to show some restraint in just saying, just take it to the polls. And I think that's probably the wise thing. And then this would be kind of like the recovery from the betrayal. Oh, this is kind of positive that this could be the recovery from how we feel that people in our own party have betrayed us, because in various all of these pop-up elections, it's not only been the Democrats, but it's been kind of like the more progressive wing of the party that's not taking that money. Then we have the Page of Swords in reverse, which I'm going to say that they're that I came up with the Doge Boys. It's like the spy in the camp. I'm going to say that there is someone that is probably trusted that's going to be leaking stuff about the Epstein files. So we've got all of this. So this is what's kind of going on here. Then let's see, we've got, in opposition to this, we have, you saw me shuffle, give him a quick shuffle. 10 of Pentacles. This is the crime family card, the ill-gotten gains, and to me, this is what this whole regime is all about. And the fact is, it's there and more people are seeing it. So I think the big question that's arising from this is, with all of this revealed, are they still going to be dumbasses at the polls? It's kind of looking like in these early elections, no. But we got to keep our fingers crossed, because in this day and age, November is an eternity away. So, okay, so let's see what we have here for the conscious thing is consciously, whether they like it or not, the deep, dark, dirty secrets of the Epstein files are coming out no matter what. And it is coming into the consciousness. They can bomb the hell out of the whole Middle East, except Israel if they want to. But now this is coming to the surface. On the subconscious level, we have the attempts for people to be giving, it's considered a charity, political donation. So it's sort of like the money, trying to raise the money with, I would say, like the corporations, like one hand washes the other. That is kind of a subconscious thing with a lot of these politicians, so they can't, so it is part of the doing the same thing and expecting different results, even though they're starting to lose. The primaries are going to be very, very interesting. So they're starting to lose. So let's see. In the past, we have 4 of Cups in reverse, failing to see the obvious. Oh my, I cannot believe what these. So these people that went for Trump, and I could say the triple Trumpers, yep, they're in a category. They're really in a category, but it's the idiots that just went for him, whether they were voting for the first time or whatever. They could not see the obvious that's been out there for 10 years now. It still mystifies me. Okay, so that's in the past. In the present, I'm going to say that with all the stuff they're going to pull about the midterm elections, is that worrying and getting insomnia about it really isn't going to help very much. The thing is that to be concerned and to be alert, but to know, first of all, that SAFE Act that's dead. And he can threaten all he wants to not to sign anything else. There's probably, with this Congress, it's probably some really shitty bills anyway. But he'll probably forget that he said that and go ahead and do it anyway. So it's sort of like not to worry, Just make sure your registration is intact. Keep checking. Not to worry. If you do that, you don't have many worries. And the fact that it is on the local level, and I don't think federal troops or anything, and they probably will go in and not give a shit. Anyway, so, okay, so we have this going into the future. We have time to get real, boys and girls. Time to lose all the fantasies about, that this is a good country, but to lose the fantasy that we're just one wonderful 1950s sitcom that's going to make America great again. Which is that decade had a lot of horrible things going on. I think that maybe people are coming to the realization that we can have our highs. The rainbow doesn't last, that we have to get realistic about that. And also that I would say that if we do have a blue NAMI, is that I think the mistake, and we did have our celebration with Biden, but I think the thing is that people became too complacent even after January 6th and thought the nightmare is over, we'll live happily ever after. That's not true. Okay, so moving a little bit further, I think this is very encouraging. I think people are getting realistic. The ones that thought they were going to make America great again are realizing that didn't happen. It didn't take too long either when they started losing jobs and finding out that, oops, my Cuban husband is going to get deported, and oops, I might be a white woman, but I'm DEA. Yeah. I'm a minority. That's one thing they're waking up to now. Okay, so then a little further into the future is the Nine of Pentacles, which is I look at this as kind of like the insulated oligarchs. And the good thing about this card is that they're insulated and they're living in their own little fool's paradise. And this is a prison, and they cannot see. And this is like the tech bros. This is like the Trump family. This is like all of them. They think that their money is going to make life wonderful. And what I want to say is that they better, I suspect they might even have, like, the worst case, if the worst case scenario happens, that we do have our escape plan. I've always believed that. I think they don't believe they're going to have to use it, but it's in place. It's part of the building. It's the bunker. I call this the gilded bunker for the rich people, because look, she's all hemmed in with that foliage. So they're kind of in a world that a prison of their own material world, which can work to our advantage. Okay, so in the hopes and the fears, the hope is that people that have been clinging to their stubbornly to their old bullshit with the guns and the prayers and all this kind of crap, that they're going to have to let go of that, and that all that toxic religiosity. And since this is Pentacles, seeing that they can't see, most of these people cannot hold on to their money. If they go to the gas pump with their pickup trucks, it's going to cost them $200-300 to fill. I can't even imagine driving one of those. That's going to loosen them up from these really, it takes a lot. So but the hope is that he's going to lose voters, and that's either them voting for Democrats or not going to the polls at all. So we've got that. So I'm going to take a look on how do we see ourselves through all of this now that the shit is really hitting the fan. Also, when I picked the moon card, is if you look at the thumbnail illustration, I've put I've made those pillars into towers. That going down this wrong path is really leading to towers. And of course, I have Epstein as, you know, he's the illustration in this right here. Okay, so how do we see ourselves in all of this right now? Now that we're in this big mess because we have someone with dementia who doesn't know what he's doing. That is a great awakening. It's not looking into your navel and seeing the stars and the moon come out. It's like maybe the spiritual awakening is going to the gas pump in the supermarket. Okay, so, oh, here we go. The death card. This is seeing the, as I say, marching on. People are waking. This is a great awakening. People are awakening to the death of this regime, but also the death of people that do not need to die. Little girls in a school, thanks to our bombs, are gone. But it's also letting go of all of that stuff that I can't even believe people were so stupid and gullible to believe the promises he made about the economy and we're going to be the administration of peace. But they've got to let them go. They're letting them go because they have no choice. Okay, so this is how we're seeing ourselves as a time to move on, time to end this and begin something else. Now, how the rest of the world sees us is the tower in reverse. And so I'm taking on a little bit of a different meme since it's coming next to this. The tower in reverse is like saying, like, the tower belongs to the United States. We are not going to get involved with this. And they've had the tower before with Trump. They re-elected him, and this isn't, and then this, they knew it would be worse, but still they voted for him. I always look at this, at the tower in reverse, and depending on the spread, is doing the same thing over again and expecting a different result. The good old NA quote. So this is it. I can't believe how, right on that the tarot can be. So this is how they see us. Like, the stupid assholes voted for this. Now it's worse. And they better learn their lesson. This is the whole thing. We've been put on notice by the rest of the world that we better learn our lesson. So I'm going to grab another deck here and see how, let's see a very quick read on a conclusion of all of this. Okay, with this... I decided that for some reason, I really wanted to stick to in doing these readings, I wanted to stick to the Rider Waite or a slight variation on this, just to keep it very traditional or similar. So, okay. Although I do love my Radiant, or whatever that is, although I do like this, Royale, the Royale deck a lot. I just decided, nah, I wanted to be kind of a purist. So let's see, kind of twist these around. I know a lot of the people on their channels don't read reversals. I do. That is just how we learned. Okay, so what for the conclusion? So let's see, what do we have here? You saw me shuffle them. The truth. It's finally, all the bullshit is being cut through. This has been this is the wake-up call that we've needed. Now, I'm not going to say like, oh, this just ends it all, because there's just too much of this MAGA that's running the government, but the people have seen this. Okay. So we got that going there. Then we have the energy of this is the sun. The sun is coming out. The truth is coming out. Now, what, so now I have to say, like, okay, it is. So what are they going to do about it? Are they going to well, it looks like they're acting on it in the polls. And Georgia is like, wow. And guys, black to boot, too, in the deep south. Okay. That's even more mind-blowing. And if they tally the last of the votes and he gets to 51%, though it's kind of challenging because he ran against 2 or 3 other people, which is probably cutting into it. But it should be interesting to see if they're going to have a runoff. I think they may have to go to the very last vote on this just to see if he's beat the hell out of these other guys, but he has to get to 50%. Okay, so what does this mean? Okay, well, interesting. Now we've got this guy in reverse. So what this is about is that he's getting caught. The people have come out of their tents. He's the cousin to the sword. Let's see, this is the 7. I pulled the 5 of swords. They're very closely related. So all these thieves and horrible people, they're getting caught. They were getting away with it, but now they're getting caught. I would say this is a whole thing with the moon card and the Hebrew letter Yuds. It's like once it propels all the rest of the Hebrew letters, and once you unleash that, it takes on a life of its own. So they're getting caught. I think people may not have a choice. They may have to hold their nose. 3 of Wands, for a while, we're really cut off from the rest of the world. And it's going to take some time to, even though they realize that the majority of us are not on board with us, there's going to be a lot of fence mending to go. So then we have here, well, this is encouraging that our institutions will probably stay intact. But I have a little message for these 2 baldies in front is, don't be hero worshiping anymore. Go to your teachers. That kind of takes me back to this I guess a few weeks ago or a month ago, whenever that was, when I had all of the spiritual people involved in the Epstein thing, is do not follow any guru, whether it's political, spiritual, whatever, or on YouTube. Do not follow them unconditionally. That's the warning. This is a lesson that comes from that. And then I think to finally conclude, we have take care of yourself. Take care of yourself. Take a little break to recharge. There is, I saw one of the, I think, I don't know if it was Linda or no, it's probably more like, it might be more like Lena or Marianne. They're kind of like sort of like the very motherly Australian people who say, one of them said, at any rate, that if you make this little rule of like after 6 o'clock, you don't watch any of those videos, not even their videos, my videos, Midas Touch, that you have a cutoff point where you have to give it a rest. And I think that that's a good hint. Now, there might be some real big news breaking thing where you might go beyond that, but at some point in the day, you cut it off. Like, I cannot praise this channel enough for all you old movie fans. I go to The Detective on Full Moon Matinee. and he presents a lot of old film noir that go from the 1930s up into the 60s. And this guy, he's from Dublin, Ohio, and he wears his fedora. He chain smokes and drinks whiskey, but he knows, and that adds to his character. And he knows his movies, so that's my escapism. Then there are those ridiculous AI stories where the wife gets cheated on, but she really gets the husband, but good in the end. I mean, like these little things that are pure escapism. You can't live there all the time, but I would say you need your little breaks. Or like the other night, I think it was last week, I hadn't seen it in years, I watched My Fair Lady with Audrey Hepburn and Rex Harrison for pure escapism. And I thought, Rex Harrison, he really was kind of hot. I could understand where the ladies went for him. Stuff like that. You give yourself a little break. It's all going to be there. It's all up in our face. It's all going to be there when you come back. But the thing is, like, really take little. In fact, you'll be able to think a little bit clearer. And if you're going to go out on the big march later this month, if you take these little breaks, it'll kind of get yourself centered so you don't do anything stupid and get caught up in any mass hysteria. So it enables you to focus, think better, decide what part you're going to play in trying to turn this whole thing around. Or even if you see ice people slithering around your community, that you take these little breaks, you don't overreact. That's the thing, is don't overreact to things and don't let them provoke you. So, at any rate, that's pretty much my, I guess, a bit of a rant for me today. So everybody take care of yourselves, and when these MAGA people turn around, you don't have to exactly embrace them, but I would say you don't exactly have to get up all in their faces and chase them back into red hat land either. So do take care, and I will see you again soon. So bye for now.